2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Okay, making one more video. Do you like my pajama pants? Look, it's pink, and then this is pink. It's like a pink city in here. Anyway, so, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, I'm making one more video, then I'm gonna take this itchy ass wig off, and then get in the shower, I guess? Go to bed? I don't know, something like that. Alright. Chapter 5, Tanner. Things should get interesting now. It was near high noon when Sheena, supposed to be weeding out the vegetables, brushed the dirt off his bony hands, onto his already filthy jeans, and crept through the tall, growing crops towards the barn. Wow, somebody's actually doing some fucking farm work for once, instead of just running around puking and crying and being insane. And fucking. The sun beat down, throbbing, making the sweat roll down off his face and bare arms, and making him fuss with his midnight hair, trying to keep it back off his face and push it from his neck. He emerged from the tall stalks and peeked left and right, wanting to be sure the captain was nowhere near. It was a slim chance. He was almost always in the house, or out fixing a string of fence or gate, or tending to the chickens or goats, which I don't think we ever see chickens or goats in this story. Still, Sheena couldn't be too careful. He lit quickly, running out across the short grass. Dandelions were springing up now, here and there, making little dense patches in the green with their leaves. And in seconds he had cleared up the hill and was at the barn's heavy doors. Sheena pressed his palm against it and then drew them back in a heartbeat. The paint had heated up enough to burn him. The paint, huh? I guess it's possible. Taking another cautious glance around, he quickly yanked the undershirt up and off his long torso and, wrapping the cloth around his hand, cracked the door of the barn quietly and crept inside. I could believe that the door of the barn is made out of like sheet metal or something, you know? And it's like really hot when you touch it. His breath exhaled heavily. How hot! And the air inside was so thick and stuffy. For a moment he doubted he'd be able to breathe. It's really uncomfortable laying on that side. I'm not used to it. I'm used to laying on this side. You know how you have one side you lay on more? I don't know if that's the case for everybody, but that's the case for me. I always lay on this side, and it's probably contributed to a lot of unevenness between both sides of my body. But, you know, what can you do? Alright, let's see. Maybe in the future I'll try to lay on my other side more. Then I'll have to take a break from this wig, because it'll just be a lot of uncomfortableness altogether. The air inside was so thick and stuffy, for a moment he doubted he'd be able to breathe. Why is the day so hot and the night is so cold? They gotta be on the coast. This is like just like Santa Cruz. But you're on a farm. I guess there's farms on the coast. So, maybe they're in Santa Cruz, I don't know. Jackie? Sheena's voice emerged much more quietly and timid sounding than he would have liked. Inwardly he cursed himself for sounding that way. I hate my voice. I hate how I come off entirely. So him and Maury are, I guess, having some self-hatred. But there was no answer to his call. He leaned his head far back to peer up at the barn's loft, but couldn't see a thing, and yet he knew, he could sense it. The other man was here. He had to be. Jackie! From up in the loft there was just the slightest bit of rustling, so small it could have been a swallow bird, or worse, imagined entirely. But Sheena wouldn't let it go. Determined, he darted to the ladder's bottom and took a hold, climbing carefully, watching for each splinter and protruding nail. That's a dangerous ladder. They need to fix that. Somebody's gonna get ripped the fuck up. Jack, his last call was the softest and only came once his head had poked up over the edge of the loft. At first, as he peered left and right and crawled up fully onto the planks, he could see nothing. But then, there he was, suddenly, as if materialized from thin air. Blending in with the earth ghostly colors of the wood and hay and shadows, a small and wiry man with mahogany skin and wild hair that was a darker color of chestnut. He was barefoot and wore no real pants. He was ready for action. Just underwear, shorts, boxers, I suppose, that Sheena was sure he had stolen from someone else. Sheena crept over towards him, but his face turned the other way, closer to the wall. "What are you here for?" he mumbled. His voice was dusted with Texan accent, but not near as strong as Ashley or some others. "I'm sure you don't want to see me." I don't really know how to do Texas accent. I sure as hell don't know how to do a difference between Texas and Virginia. I could probably figure it out, like, if I heard two people talking, like, side by side. 'Cause there is a difference, but I just can't do it. You know, I'm Californian. What do you fucking want? We can't do shit for accents, you know? Where is it? Sheena stopped where he was, but blinked in confusion. He recognized the guilt dripping from Jackie's voice, but wasn't sure how to take it. You know what's funny? Jackie, I'm pretty sure, is in another story where he's also guilty about something. He, like, got in a fight, or he was, like, fucking... He, like, fucking did something bad. I don't know. He did something bad, and then he was, like, saying how bad he felt about it, or some shit. "What do you mean?" he asked quickly, again his nervousness betraying him when he most desired to seem calm and cool. "I came to say sorry." Oh, wait, I think this is because, okay, the whole reason is that, like, I made a zine before. I took all these random notebooks, and then I, like, took one page out of each, and I put them all in the zine. I think this is the page that I saw before, so maybe Jackie's not in two different stories. Maybe this is just it. I don't know. Let me see. Blah, 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 blah. "What do you mean?" he asked, quickly. Again, his nervousness, betraying him when he most desired to seem calm and cool. "I came to say sorry." There's a whole lot of, I came to say sorry. But I don't, all this stuttering kind of gets on my nerves. I just don't think people really stutter like that. When you stutter, it's more like, I don't know, people just don't stutter like that. It's more just like when you just can't get a word out or something. I don't know. It's just, I don't think it's not like this, you know. Jackie replied with a scoff, a sound that cut Sheena down to the bone and made his insides freeze with humiliation. What an idiot I must look like. God, I could just die. But the small man looked towards him in heavy regret. There was nothing judgmental in his stare at all. "You?" he said, "sorry." "Oh God, Sheena." He laughed again, even weaker than before. "What do you gotta be sorry for? I ought to be apologizing, but I ain't got the guts." "Oh, Jackie, no. Let me finish, will you?" The little man cut him off. "It's true. I got you beat up, Sheena. The captain was looking for me, and he got you." Yeah, this is the page I used before. That's funny to see it, like, in context, because it was totally out of context before. His dark eyes dropped. Oh, what the fuck? Oh, look at this little stripper. Look at that. Isn't that a cutie? Okay. What's this? What was that one? His dark eyes dropped down into the hay. I saw what he did to you. God, it wasn't right, you hear me? And I just hid up here. I didn't even say anything. I didn't even try. By now Sheena was frozen. He too was looking away. "Don't think about it," he mumbled at last, after a small pause. "It didn't happen." Jack's head came up quickly, and he gave Sheena a peering look. "What? Don't talk about it. What didn't happen?" "Just quit it," Sheena barked. Then instantly, regret flowed over him. He shifted back. "Oh God, Jackie, I don't mean to yell." Jack shook his head urgently and crawled forwards across the loft on his elbows and stomach. Don't you dare be sorry, you." This is like having like a real, like, I don't know, I feel like it's like Gone with the Wind style, like, talking, just like real dramatic and shit. Don't you dare be sorry, you. He huffed quietly. Don't you feel bad. You can't. It ain't you. Or maybe it's like the Notebook or something. I didn't see that, but it's what I associate with it. Sheena's pale eyes were misting over with emotion. He stared into space, down at the hay, squeezing it between his fingers. His pink mouth opened to respond, but never got there. Suddenly his spine went rigid, and he sat up straight, ears pricked to the hot air like a hunting dog. You hear that? Already in that one fast second, Jack's stomach churned, afraid, trying to crawl inside itself to hide. He slunk backwards, back towards the wall. Hear what, man? Someone's coming. Sheena turned his lanky body and crawled curiously towards the ladder. Careful, Jack hissed. Oh, ease up, Sheena muttered. I ain't gonna let them see me, let alone see you. Besides, he squinted his eyes a little. I don't think that's the captain. I know his walk. Quietly as shadows, Sheena gripped the ladder and made his way down towards the floor. Jack shook with nervousness, but as his friend dropped away out of sight, he could not contain himself, and he too slithered forwards, peeking his head out the edge of the loft. What do you see? Sheena's feet touched down on the ground, and he hunkered down low in the hay. Creeping, he inched over to the wall and pressed his shoulder against the flaking old wood, peering through a crack to see out into the sun. There's a man, all right, he murmured in report, and Sheena paused a moment. When he spoke again, his voice held a suspended tone of amazement. Hot God, it ain't no one I know. Jackie, and I thought you were dark. Jack tilted his head, confused, before moving some of the bush hair from his sweaty face. What's that? See this guy, Sheena said. Get your ass down here. He makes you look the color of me or Ashley. Yeah, I remember this. They're not. Apparently, they don't see black people a lot or something. I guess they're in a white area. This is like echoing one of those fucking history books or like historical novels you gotta read for class when somebody like they've never seen a black person before, and then they fucking see a black person and they're like, oh my god. You know, this is basically what's going on right now. So, hey, all the SJWs, if you're not gone yet, leave now, because, I don't know, maybe you'll get offended or some shit, maybe not, I don't know, I don't say anything bad about the dude, it's just that these fuckers, they don't have a lot of diversity in their lives, okay? And no hair, neither. He hunkered down slightly lower. I have never seen one like that. Someone with skin the color of molasses, that's what it is. Huh. Jack laid down on his stomach. Well, the captain's gonna have a goddamn fit when he sees we got a trespasser, that's all I know, he murmured. He folded his arms and laid his cheek on them. Wait to see that. Okay. Alright, chapter 6, Cousins. Oh, that part I read at the beginning that I think was out of sequence. I think that's from this chapter, but we'll see. Guessy, but the skinny young man would not answer. No matter how Maury called his name, they burned under the high sun. Maury could seem to feel the sunblock ooze off his skin like melted wax beneath the blaze, sliming shiny onto the corn he picked, down the corners of his eyes, and where the basket handle pressed into his forearm and left a red mark. Guessy? He began to worry. There stood the tall brunette, but just staring into the stalks. Oh, he's crazy, as usual. Hey, Guessy, hey, talk to me, man. At last the other young man gave him response. But it was only to move his hand to sort of wave Maury away, not to look at him at all. We'll keep quiet a sec, Guessy answered, hushed but urgently. His long hair was tied back, and Maury watched the sweat bead on his slender neck. I hear my cousin. Your cousin? Maury looked at him confused. At that there was a rustling in the corn, and another man crept out, listening to them but holding his tongue until now. He was bony and tall, just shy of Guessy's own height. Clean-shaven, having jolty straight white hair, peachy skin just as much smoked by the sun as anyone else. The gray wife beater I hate the fact that those undershirts are called wife beaters. Like, but I mean, that's what they're called, so what are you gonna fucking do? But it's just like, why? Why do we have to call them that? Like, we can't just say undershirt, or even like ribbed undershirt, maybe, something like that. I don't know. Wife beater is just like, does it have to be called that, you know? Anyways, let me see. The shirt, the sleeveless shirt he wore, showed a deep scar behind one shoulder. But I think it should be was. It was the lines on his gaunt face and his showing age which separated him from most of the others. Your cousin's working out in the fields in next farm over, he mumbled. Gyro, right? He's at least a mile away. Guess he was not listening and would not be deterred by him. He set down his basket altogether on the dirt and crept step by step towards the edge of the crops, not the cops. But I do hear him. And then suddenly, like a flash in his mind's eye, he saw a vision, and Gyro was running scared through the farmhouse kitchen up the stairs to the old bedroom. Is Gessie like a little bit psychic or something? Is that why he's always freaking out, having these fucking breakdowns and shit? Does he have a little bit of like fiver in him or something? Up the stairs to the old bedroom, he was dropping his glasses off his face in haste, scrambling terrified under the bed and screaming when he was grabbed. Of course he was screaming. Nobody can just fucking be like... Nobody can use their words. They're always screaming. Hey, Gessie cried out, but the vision was gone. Jai! God! In a heartbeat, he was off sprinting, panicked, racing through the corn stalks, shoving the big leaves aside with his arms. Maury, confused, stayed, while the white-haired man gave chase, dropping his basket recklessly. Mihi, no, Maury called. He only dared to step forwards, but not follow them, as if his feet were glued to the earth. Don't chase him, let him go. But it was no use. By that time, Gessie and Mihi had both dashed away out of any sight. God, Jesus, Maury mumbled nervously, turning his attention back to the stalks. Don't let the captain catch you, crazy fuckers. Gessie broke out of the cornfield into the full blaze of the sun. For a moment it blinded him, but didn't slow him for a moment. He knew the way to the edge of the farm, to where the tall chain fence separated their farm from the next. So militant in contrast to the calm wood of the small low fences around the rest of the land. Off in the distance it stood, this metal fence, hot in the sun, weeds growing up all around its foundation. Gessie fought ahead through the thick country heat. He didn't hear behind him Mihi's swift footsteps, running on the grass. Ashley was too tired to feel guilt. When that emotion did creep around, he was good at deflecting it. I ain't the only one who's been taken off the fields for a couple days. Remember last winter? And they wouldn't treat no one else no different. But still, he was nervous when it came to laying his arms on the countertop and pressing his head down on them for a small rest. Sick or healthy, the captain would not want him laying down. Not when he should be working. But the house was so warm in the day's heat, the cool of the countertop was too welcoming, and he was tired. From the corner of his eye, out of the kitchen window, there was a flash of blurry movement. Instantly, Ashley was on his feet, snatched up the dish rag, and went back to wiping the counter clean. So many movements, so fast that he gave himself a head rush and struggled to stay on his feet. He closed his eyes for a moment, then, as the room spun, leaned on the counter with his other hand. His canary hair was falling out of his headband and against the damp skin of his face. For the moment, Ashley was blind, but from the front of the house he could hear the door open and close, and then boots thudding across the hard floor. The shifting weight of the captain's old golden retriever. What? As it stood up on its paws. So they have a dog, too? I didn't hear anything about this dog before. And the jangling of the license on his collar. And then the dog's hoarse barking. Barking? But that dog would never bark at the captain. Never, at least in the months Ashley had lived here. Not once did the old dog dare. Ashley cautiously blinked open his eyes, but his head stayed down, eyes concentrated on his working hands, not daring to peek out at the corners. Quiet, boy, quiet. A small laugh followed. What's going on, boy? Quincy wants to say hi. Alright, I'm already at 20 minutes. Stop.